Welcome back, everybody, to another live show. Too far. There we go. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving, had some enjoyable time off, got to spend some time with family and friends, and ate turkey and drank beer and all that fun stuff that you do around the holidays. You know what I'm talking about. What up, Hillary? Hey, Brian. James jumped straight into it. Let's talk more about the Kenny 7. What do you want to talk about? I don't even know if you can get your hands on them right now. What up, Hogue? Cameron, good to see you again. Hey, Andrew. Are they on eBay? Are they? I didn't know, since they're based out of Russia, if you could get your hands on them or not. I haven't kept up to it. So I haven't talked to those guys in a while. A couple years, in fact. I need to reach out, see how Constantine's doing. So what's everybody doing? It's awful quiet in here. Can't hear any of you. What, Brett? How you been, brother? Schmidt? It's good to see the regulars rolling in. Hillary's eating. What you eating? Fill us in. Enlighten us as to what's on the menu tonight. Inquiring minds want to know. Let me do this. Bring this up a little bit. Excuse me. I had a Pop-Tart for supper. In fact, I'm finding chunks of Pop-Tart on me. Oh, Britt's getting ready to grill a ribeye. Hillary's still chomping down on them Thanksgiving leftovers. A week later. Hey, James. Lobster. I'm allergic to shellfish, so I don't get to enjoy the seafood. No, I don't really care. I'm allergic to shellfish, but I don't eat seafood. So, what'd you guys think of the new LS3? Let me tell you. I'm getting tired of these stinking snakes on this stinking plane. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's probably getting a little ripe. GM junk. Jonathan, I don't even know, man. Like, I don't even know. You know, I've had one vehicle catch on fire, and the other day, like last week, I wanted another vehicle to catch on fire and just roll it out of the garage and let it burn. Unfortunately, I had isolated the electrical problem, so. Well, Joseph. I'm getting started with Coyote Tune my own car. I have some base files and previous tunes, but man, wish I had you on speed dial to ask specific questions to. These cars are complicated. That's what the Patreon's for, man. Go check out the Patreon. Literally a direct line to ask questions. There's a link to it in every single one of my videos. Just deleted my dead on demand lifters. Still wet behind the ears. Committed to learning. There you go, Brett. As long as you're committed to it, you will figure it out. Trust me, it's not that complicated. It just seems complicated at first. It gets easier as you go. Unless we're talking about 5th gens, GMs, our neural network Hemis. Grandson wants a $500 Iron Man helmet for Christmas. Well, Schmidt, how much do you love your grandson? That's the question. Then Jonathan's got a point. Thursday is whenever we just throw all the questions at the wall and see what sticks. It's like stump the chump, and I am the chump in which you are stumping. You know, honestly, if people went back and watched previous episodes of the live show, there's probably a lot of good information that could be gleaned from those. Some of them, you know, we touch on the same stuff, which we're going to do. The big stuff is always going to come up and be rehashed over and over and over. Opinions on Whipple being the only company able to tune new S650 Mustang for their own kits. That just means that it is possible to tune the S650, and if you give it a couple more months, it'll roll out to everybody. The same thing happened on the C8 Corvette. What up, Easy? Can you identify based off of logs or a VVE graph if cam to LS needs to be rezoned? You can as you watch the VVE graph start to fall into place if you start seeing hard edges all along the zone boundaries. That's what I look for. I look for hard edges developing around the zone boundary because, as I've said, we've got certain shapes in which we have to maintain in the zones. Domes, bowls, fairly straight lines. We can do a slight S, but that's it. And so what happens a lot of times is we might be developing a shape in that boundary and it starts peeking out on one corner on a hard edge, and it goes up high, and then you get into the next zone next to it and it drops down. So there's a big room for interpretation, or interpolation in this case, between where that hard edge is. And often that can be moved to cause that to create a new zone shape over where that hard edge is. And so if you've got an area on your VVE table on your zone that's fairly calm and it's only moving really in one direction, you can split it in that flat area. Even if it's at an angle, it's still flat. As long as it's not doing, something like this. If it's just like that, split it and put the boundary through the middle of that flat area. It'll be happier there. And then get that area where it's doing nose in the middle of the zone. Exactly. Do you believe in any of those tuning schools? Yeah, High Performance Academy. They are a partner with Go Garage affiliate, however you want to call it. The one that does the books, I'm not a big fan of. There's a couple new ones that I've not looked into very much. The problem with books being is that they age poorly. It's great if you're just working on third gens, but you get into specifically like fifth gens and neural networking stuff, the books age really bad. So you kind of want something that is going to update as new information or new tuning techniques come out, right? John asks, is it worth it to run boost juice on a supercharged car? 1,000%. 1,000%. What kind of supercharger? You centrifugal, you twin screw, you roots. The only difference is where you're going to inject it. But yes, huge. James, the Canny 7 is an amazing product, and I could probably create a whole channel just going over how to do programming and stuff on the Candy 7 and how to integrate it, but only 5 people would watch it. You know, it's so in depth and hardcore that it doesn't have the penetration. So so I have some of their lessons, didn't learn much, learn a lot more from you. Well, I mean, I would hope that you would learn more from me. I've got over 500 videos, and I would guess that 250, 300 of them are probably just tuning. So E38 ECU, what would cause ignition timing to be 0 to 5 for the first 89 seconds and then go to 15? Well, there is a crank table. There's an idle table, crank table. E38s, there will probably be some after crank until it gets to idle. I wouldn't worry about it unless you're having issues, Shelton, to be honest with you. Like, is it just not wanting to run in that first 80 to 90 seconds? Some of it could also be that whenever it's firing up, it's trying to limit flare, RPM flare, and it does that through timing. And so if you're getting too much airflow, if your base airflow is too high, you can cause it to get a bunch of RPM flare, and it's going to pull timing to control that. So ICT car guy. How in the world do I tune out a valve cover gasket leak on a F-150, sell it for a Chevy, or tons of RTV? Oh, yeah. We're going to hit 100,000 subscribers this month. Yo! What up, Dennis? I developed an issue that the truck idle is great, but once I put it in gear, the idle jumps way up. Check for vacuum leaks and nothing. You got to realize, Danny, whenever you put it in a gear, it starts adding idle modifiers in there because you're changing the load on the motor. Hey, Chris, long time no see, brother. How's Oklahoma City? You're changing the load on the motor, and so it has to, it shifts your idle airflow requirements, and there's a bunch of stuff that can do. There's N2LS. I was wondering if you're going to show up. So just be aware of that. There, you may have to play around with it to find out which one's causing it to jump up whenever you're going to gear. But always check your base idle airflow. Unless you're on a drive-by cable, then you need to look at where your IAC is, idling at temp in park. Make sure it's in that 50 counts range. Runs okay most of the time, but occasionally wants to stall and surge when going into gear. Yeah. As said, it sounds like it's flare control that's causing it. It's easy. You'll find flare control in there under Spark. Zero it out. See if it holds the timing. It's going to rev up real high because it's pulling that timing to try and control it, but something to do. What area do I need to target to fix hanging revs on a Gen 3 drive-by-wire? All the drivability is great. Thank you for all you do. Oh, well, thank you, JB. Throttle follower, man. Throttle follower is allowing your IAC to open up too much whenever you're coming off a throttle, and so it's hanging until the IAC gets the plunger in to close it. Hey, ICT car guy, come on over and do a Turbo 400 for the third time with me. Third time in a week and a half. Hey, Brad. Hey, man. Sometimes you just gotta go back and watch the videos. Sometimes I gotta go back and refresh my mind and go back and look at old tunes and be like, wait a second. How do I do this again? Changed my VVE zones 0, 1, 6, 7, 12, 30, whatever, as they were negative at 30 and positive at 35. My zone was set to 40 and it moved to 30. Much smoother now. Okay, there you go. And that's the thing, is you can make smaller zones that are easier to work with in the areas that you're hitting a lot of, you're getting a lot of data, as it were. The car spends a lot of time in those zones. Maybe split those up and make them smaller, and then the zones that you don't get into, you can make those bigger. Oh, DMC Bigfoot. Put the ASES jackpot on my 5.3 7-inch display. Oh, big spender. Big spender. How do you like that 7-inch display? Yeah, so if you didn't watch the latest video, the ASES jackpot is what I've got on the Monte Carlo right now. I'll be hooking it up to the LS3 tomorrow. The program, the software side of it is really kind of the bummer on that thing. But the harness, the ECU, the display, all that package is really good for the price. Yes, into LS is correct. Find the airflow error that Spark is trying to fix. If you disable the Spark corrections, you'll see how good the airflow is. Get the airflow closer, and then turn the Spark corrections back on, and I'll have less to do. I mean, literally, if you're idling and you look at your Spark and it is jumping like 5 degrees or more, it's fighting airflow. What kind of boost you plan on running? On the Monte Carlo? I don't know. I hadn't even thought about it. I got other things that I'm getting ready to boost that are more important. Dude, GPS, I forgot about the GPS, because even the 5-inch has that, and I haven't gotten it out of the garage, obviously, so. Brian, I'm going to do a more in-depth video probably this weekend specifically on it. But the cool thing about the ASES setup is it comes with the 24X and the 58X sub harnesses. I will say that the harness seems to lay better on the 4th gen than the 3rd gen. With all the sensors and stuff like that, it's easier to tuck and clean up and jazz like that. But you've got the option. It'll work with both. So it's just, and using the sub harness style that they do, it's just plugging in the harnesses that you need. Please elaborate. You gotta watch, Chris. You gotta watch. Turn on the notifications, ding that bell, all that crap that they say. There's gonna be stuff coming out. We've got positive pressure devices on the way. What is getting boosted first would be the Silverado. So the Whipple for the Superado should be showing up in the next week or so. Having to get used to driving wide open throttle, look over at the laptop again. They, that's what data loggers are for. Be careful. What up, Jerry? Emailed that log. It probably won't get to it till Monday. I don't know. Depends. We'll see. Do live tuning on the Silverado? As in, you want me to live stream the tuning? I've got a LSA lid. if you need one of those, I don't have the supercharger. Hey, De La Soul. With today's technology, there should be no reason it would just be a very, very boring live stream, because it is neural networking, and it is a lot of it's just a lot of making an adjustment, uploading it to the website, allowing it to recalculate, downloading it, loading it into the tune. Well, report back and let me know what you think about it, Daily Soul. I'm always interested in feedback. And to that matter, the guys over at HPA are interested in feedback. Ground feedback issue, it is in the power lead that goes to the battery that's mounted in the trunk. So here's the layout. Battery in the trunk. Power comes out, goes to the disconnect switch, then goes forward and goes to a power distribution lug in the passenger side kick panel. It's in that leg. I know for a fact, because that unhooked should have no resistance on it because there's nothing on it. Unhooked from the battery, and it has resistance, so it is shorted somewhere. What's up with that sweet Viper? That's a good question. I started it a week and a half ago. If this stupid Monte Carlo would start playing nice, I would bring it home so I can put the new wheels and exhaust on it. Any experience with the TRG 58-24? TRG makes a conversion box now. TRG 58-24. Lingenfelter. Oh, the Lingenfelter box. Gotcha. I know some guys that have ran it. Seems to be no issues with it. Surprisingly enough, I don't know how. At one point in time, they had a 24-58 box. It did not last long because it was not reliable. It's easy to see how you could go from high resolution to low resolution. How in the world somebody thought you could go from low resolution to high resolution is beyond me. Why that would ever work. Maybe I should get one of these and test it out on the LS3. What do you guys think? Should we try out one of these 58-24X conversion modules? Because I could throw it on the LX3 and drop the P01 harness on it and run it off of P01 for fun. Let me know what you think. If that's something that you guys be interested in seeing. Sounds kind of dumb. I mean, let's face it, it is dumb, but I've got all this third gen stuff. I just need to get some use out of it. What'd be the benefit? There is no benefit. None whatsoever. The benefit is if you've got a P01 or a third gen car, you can drop a fourth gen motor in. Dude, into LS, here's the thing. You are correct, but I need to put a cam in it, and that's not going to happen this year. Well, Bernard, we started early, so you were super late. Really need to put a cam in it so we can change the timing events so we can play with, injection targets and stuff like that. Now, the 6-liter has stage 3 NA in it. I'm not going to take that out and put it in there right now. In fact, I'm leaving the 6-liter as it is. I'm giving it to my buddy Justin to build. He wants to build it. I said, you can have it. Come get it. We'll load it up. You can have it. You can do whatever you want with it. I've got 4 motors, 3 of them sitting in my little 2-car garage that I shoot my videos in. I don't have room for all this stuff, so yeah. Oh, wanting to use it on a GTO. Already have 4X. Wait a second. Hold on. Explain this to me. Time for a bigger shot, man. Real estate ain't cheap in Pennsylvania, Brian. Real estate ain't cheap. Yeah, I can believe it. My general idea is if you can get it to not smell like fuel whenever it's idling, that's good enough. Send it. Man, no Florida. I can only get so close to that area without my skin crawling, and B, my wife would never go for it. Ah, there's Justin. He's listening in. Yeah, come get it. Get it out of here. Trying to wrap my head around this. Why not change ECM? Change what ECM? Taking the turbo off, should I take my 80-pound injectors out and put the 42s back in? That's totally up to you, man. 42s is going to be easier to tune in the lower RPMs. That's about it. Titan Tune fills the gaps in the VVE log, as you should. Highlights the whole graph and hits smooth one time before calculating coefficients. It's not going to make a difference, one way or the other, because the way the calculation math works, it smooths it whenever you're calculating it. Now, it can prevent broken zones from happening every once in a while, because every once in a while you'll get a zone that goes like negative 30,000, and sometimes that's wonky. I'm so lost on this conversion thing. So it's a GTO. What are you doing that requires a conversion? Interesting. Guys use pressure transducers he welded to the valve body. Well, obviously, that dude is super smart on transmissions. I'm going to have to look him up. Hold on. SIU transmissions. Just because it sounds cool. Oh, SIU Automotive. Oh yeah, this guy looks crazy nerdy. Okay, I dropped a subscribe here. I'll share it. There you go. If you're interested in jumping over and he released a video 3 months ago about, he's got multiple videos on HP tuners in the 6L80. Sweet. Good find, man. Good find. Thanks for sharing it. Okay, where was I at? If you're using at least 58% duty wide open throttle injectors, you should be fine. There you go. If you're only using 30%, it's too low. You'll make power smaller. Well, the control will be significantly better. Significantly better. So, yeah, it sounds super nerdy. I need to subscribe with my other YouTube account, because that's the one that I watch YouTube on. I don't watch YouTube on this account. I got premium on the other one. It's how I've got so many views on some of my videos. I just watch them over and over again. That's not true. Subscribe, SIU Automotive. Okay, cool. Okay, 5.3 flex fuel. I probably got one of those too. Oh, where's my editor? Was going to pull an L76 out of a G8 in a GTO. The GTO is 24 and G8 is 58. Yeah, both have 4 cam gear. Conversion box. Just swap the cam gear. Oh, no, it's the crank. Duh. Yeah, I mean, it should work for that. What are we looking for? Flex fuel. 5.3 flex fuel. Let's see if I've got one. Let's go 2013. I don't know why I clicked on transmission. Fuel stoic AFR. That's flex fuel. Is it enabled? Enabled. Flow rate. Pounds per hour. Looks like 42s. Would be my guess. Best bet is to just pull the part number off the injector and look it up. It'll have that data somewhere, but I would say it's probably 42. If you get an AEMX series, let me know if it comes with an authentic wideband. Would what be good for the 408, Leroy? What, Dan? I've got an interesting situation. I pump my brake pedal, then I start seeing 20 to 25 short-term fuel trims. Oh, 42 pounds for a 408. You might want a slightly bigger one. That's a 376 injector generally, I believe. So you would be running out of room pretty quick on that, Leroy. If you're looking for a stock injector to use, that, I mean, it'd be fine. I don't think that it would get too high above 80% duty cycle, but if you're doing cams and long tubes on there, you're going to need to go 60 to 80 range. Be my guess. Treber Works. It sounds like an Australian company. It's my Australian accent. No joke. At idle, pumps, brakes, crappy idle, crazy trims. Damn, I don't even... You have any DTCs, man? N2LS says my Cruise does that. I think it's the brake cylinder with a vac pump disrupting the intake air or something. That's crazy. I mean, that kind of makes sense, though. Yeah, and maybe it's a vacuum leak in the booster diaphragm or something, causing unmetered air to get where it's not supposed to. See ya, Hogue. We're about to shut down anyways. Oh, Deech Works. Yeah, they're out of Oklahoma City. Good guys. Smoke test the booster. Really? That's wild. The more I pump it till trim's correct. Does the exertion level of pumping it change? Does it get harder to pump as you pump it more? Is there a VE table generator out there to make a starting table before I start tuning? Not that I know of, Jake. Grab a tune that has a VE table in your format that has a close to your displacement. Copy that in. It'll probably leave the fuel trims on. It'll probably fire up and get you to a starting point of tuning. It also depends, like, are you on a 3rd gen or a 4th gen? 3rd gen, you can kind of make a VE table, but 4th gen, you're just, yeah, not going to have any issues. Thanks, Schmidt. That's crazy. It's a new one for me. No DTCs. Well, I mean, I guess there wouldn't be any DTCs in that case if that's a leak. So, okay, it's 8:28. We started a little early. I'm batching it tonight, which means I'm going to bed as soon as the stream's over. I got transmission swapping to do. I got to swap the transmission, or not even swap. I got to install the transmission. I got to put the headers on, bolt the exhaust back up. I've got to finish the fuel system. I'm waiting on the Snow Performance LS3 stock manifold fuel rails. Because I was thinking about it and I didn't want to. Originally, I was just going to plumb into the factory returnless rails on there and use the regulator. You know, basically you flow in one side of the regulator, other side of the regulator goes to the return, or goes to the rails, and then the return comes out the bottom. I'd rather do it normal, flow into the rails, then back to the regulator. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, because I think they shipped Tuesday, that the fuel rails will be here tomorrow. I have a sneaking suspicion we will not get it running tomorrow because it's supposed to rain. So I'm not really in a huge hurry to get it running tomorrow. But Saturday, it's going to be running and it's going to storage and the Viper's coming home. Hey, Dad, you tuned in just in time to see the end of the show. Everybody tell Leroy Crawford hi. He's doing good. He's feeling good. But send some highs his way. And with that, you guys know the drill. APT, always be tuning.